Welcome back to GeoCrisis Update, your trusted source for detailed analysis of global conflicts and geopolitical developments. Today's focus is on an escalating diplomatic dispute involving United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. This conflict arose following Guterres' recent visit to Russia, where he participated in the BRICS summit and engaged in a highly publicized meeting with Putin. The images and video of the two shaking hands and exchanging pleasantries have triggered strong criticism, especially from Ukrainian leadership, and have sparked renewed debate about the United Nations' role in active conflicts. Guterres' appearance at the BRICS summit, held in Kazan, Russia, was already controversial given the international climate. The BRICS coalition, made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, serves as a powerful bloc seeking to create an economic and political balance against Western-dominated alliances like NATO and the European Union. Guterres, representing the United Nations, aimed to discuss peace initiatives within this multipolar forum, where he openly called for a just peace in Ukraine. However, his willingness to meet with Putin, a figure wanted by the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes in Ukraine, sparked immediate backlash, particularly among pro-Ukraine allies who believe such interactions validate Russian leadership. An anonymous official close to Zelenskyy remarked that Guterres appeared used by the Kremlin, implying that the United Nations head's presence was seen as bolstering Putin's legitimacy and Russia's diplomatic leverage within the BRICS alliance. According to this source, Guterres' meeting could be interpreted as showing favoritism to a bloc that indirectly supports Russia, sending a potentially damaging message to Ukraine and other countries defending their sovereignty under the principles of the United Nations Charter. Following this visit, Guterres was scheduled to travel to Kyiv. However, in a bold move, President Zelenskyy denied Guterres' request to meet, making it clear that he saw the United Nations leader's actions as inconsistent with the values of neutrality and justice. Zelenskyy addressed the issue directly in his speech on United Nations Day, marking the occasion with a reminder to the global community about the significance of the United Nations Charter's principles. He stated, "Even if some officials prefer the allure of Kazan over the substance of the United Nations Charter, our world is structured so that the rights of nations and international legal norms matter and will continue to matter." These words underscore Zelenskyy's growing frustration with what he views as a potential erosion of international standards in the face of diplomatic convenience. Adding to this sentiment, Ukraine's foreign ministry issued a highly critical statement via social media. The ministry highlighted that Guterres had turned down an invitation to attend Ukraine's first-ever Global Peace Summit in Switzerland, a key forum organized by Kyiv to discuss strategies for achieving a durable peace. In their message, Ukraine's ministry called out the United Nations Secretary-General's actions as a wrong choice that does not advance the cause of peace, going on to say that the visit to Kazan only damages the United Nations' reputation. This firm condemnation is a reflection of the broader disillusionment Ukraine and its allies feel toward international bodies that they believe have not demonstrated steadfast support in upholding international law in the context of the Ukraine-Russia war. International responses extended beyond Ukraine, as other leaders within Eastern Europe voiced their unease about Guterres' decision. Lithuanian Foreign Minister Gabrielius Landsbergis added to the conversation with a pointed message, indirectly suggesting that Guterres consider resignation. In a social media post, Landsbergis stated, "If Antonio Guterres decides to resign, Lithuania will not try to talk him out of it." This unprecedented response from a European Union member state reflects a rare instance where a high-ranking official openly questions the United Nations Secretary-General's leadership, further highlighting how polarizing his meeting with Putin has been. A particularly emotional reaction came from Yulia Navalnaya, the widow of late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who was a prominent critic of the Kremlin and, tragically, became a symbol of the risks faced by Putin's opponents. In a social media post, Navalnaya wrote, "It was the third year of the war, and the United Nations Secretary-General was shaking hands with a murderer." Her words reflect a deep-seated resentment felt by many who believe that the United Nations must hold firm in its dedication to justice. especially in conflicts where one party faces accusations of severe human rights abuses and war crimes. This diplomatic incident not only highlights Ukraine's disapproval of the United Nations' perceived neutrality, but also raises larger questions about the organization's ability to stay impartial when one of its member states faces international accusations of unlawful aggression. For Guterres, his mission of promoting dialogue for peace, especially among non-Western powers, may have been guided by principles of inclusivity. However, for Ukraine and its allies, this approach has underscored a troubling disparity between the United Nations goals and the actions it is willing to take to achieve them. Furthermore, this incident underscores the inherent difficulties in navigating diplomacy when the stakes involve accusations of international crimes and active conflict. The United Nations, by design, must balance engagement with all member states to foster cooperation. Yet, this very mandate is sometimes seen as conflicting with the expectation that it will uphold justice, especially when dealing with leaders accused of serious violations. Guterres' decision to visit Russia, while opting out of the Global Peace Summit in Switzerland, has left some questioning whether the United Nations is fulfilling its mission to act as a neutral arbiter or inadvertently diminishing its own credibility. As this story develops, it is likely that Guterres and the United Nations will face further scrutiny over their actions in conflict zones. For Ukraine, this situation reinforces its call for a diplomatic approach that places accountability and justice above conciliatory gestures. This event may well be a pivotal moment that leads the United Nations to re-evaluate its engagement strategy in cases where member states face serious allegations. Thank you for watching GeoCrisis Update. If you found this analysis insightful, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can stay informed on the latest developments in global conflicts and geopolitics. As always, stay aware, stay informed, and we will see you next time.